Welcome back to the Federal Executive Forum on Federal News Network. We are talking about IT modernization. We were highlighting a specific example, if you will. And Nick, I'm going to roll over to you and ask you to give us a specific example of something you'd like to top line that something you've been doing at perhaps one of these agencies.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. So I think a lot of the focus that we've had so far in the conversation is around data center optimization, data, where it's stored. Where I'd like to highlight is actually some of the use of that data. And last December, we saw the executive order come out around customer experience and citizen experience. And that's driven a lot of our agencies to think differently about their mission and who they support and the citizens that they serve. And that's allowed them to look at their data in a different way, the data that they have to serve the citizens of this great nation. And that has really shown a light on the technology that they have at their disposal to be able to interact and open a dialogue between the citizens that they serve. And so what we've seen over the last really 10 months is an evaluation of the technology that they have, but also the way that they're operationally structured. And so we've seen agencies really look at web UX design again from a new perspective, as well as contact center technologies. So call centers, both internal call centers, external call centers, and how citizens are able to leverage those services. We saw that in the States, certainly during the pandemic, about accessing unemployment resources and others, but we see it at the federal level too. Agencies that run massive contact centers like the IRS and Postal Service that are looking at new technologies like natural language processing within their IVR to help reduce costs, but also to deliver a better experience for people calling into those agencies. And so I think what we've seen over the last 10 months is just a great focus on the operational structures that will enable a good customer experience, but also those foundational technologies that can be deployed at scale for some of the largest agencies.
No question that that CX experience, if you will, extremely important and certainly front and center these days. Gardy, I'm going to roll it over to you. I know there's just some tremendous sophistication going on over there at Department of Energy, and you're faced with sort of dealing with all those various entities in regards to the labs, et cetera. Give us an example, a program that you'd like to highlight that sort of maybe unlock some of that capability there.
Thank you. I think I'll cheat just a little bit, and I'll talk about.
That's okay.
I'll talk about two, but primarily I just want to kind of touch on the IT Modernization Playbook. I think most of your viewers, or at least I expect they've heard or seen it, but if you haven't, I strongly encourage that you go to energy.gov/CIO and take a look at our Scaling IT Modernization Playbook. If you're not familiar with the Scaling IT Modernization Playbook, it's a resource that offers you a set of plays that you could use, a concrete roadmap that you could use to help you sort of implement a change at scale, and whereby you can quickly get to very transformative value and help to advance your mission forward. One of the good things that we saw from the playbook, what we kind of expected, but it was somewhat surprising, was the reaction that we were getting from the commercial sector. The intent was let's create a playbook that can help our federal colleagues with scaling IT modernization. And then when we put it out, we got reactions such as, "Wow, you're looking at the exact problems that we've been dealing with, and you're providing actions that we think are very relatable to us in terms of how we need to deal with some of these things." So it's not just for federal leaders, but it's also for anyone that might be interested, that anyone who's still dealing with sort of transformation, digital transformation in their space. One of the effort where we've applied some of these techniques is I think Nicole and Melanie talked about the value of prototyping, proof of concept. Right, we started with a small proof of concept around a conversational chatbot, and And it was just, hey, let's see, what's there. We had a platform, it had some capability on it. Let's evaluate it. And in the process, we realized that, well, it makes no sense that we're sort of evaluating this without having a real problem to address. So we reached out to one of our business colleagues, and we said, hey, would you like to work with us? And they came back, yes, we'd be more than happy to work with you. That's our small business office. And it's been a great partnership ever since. And we've managed to build, one of the best conversational agent in that space. And what we realized was that a lot of our colleagues across the federal space did not have that capability, and they needed it because, as you know, small businesses, they don't have a huge budget, right? But they still have to serve a significant number of customers. Mm-hmm. So on top of that, we've been building some additional capabilities, but again, just sort of realizing the value of incremental change, incremental sort of deliverables. And we just keep building on top of it. And we're looking to see how we can expand it. Again, I think I said that in my opening remarks. We're working with our partners across the federal space to see how then we share, and then what can we learn in the process of sharing with them.
Yeah, proof of concept is very important. The town is running on proof of concepts for all the right reasons. Yeah. Rob, I'm going to throw it over to you. Several of the folks have talked about data. Nick mentioned it as well. And, there's sort of that we all are familiar with the last mile. Let's talk about the first mile on that data journey, and perhaps what the agency should be considering as they move forward, becoming sort of this data-centric entity, if you will.
Yeah, it's a good point, Luke, to be able to sort of stare at this, sea of information that exists,
which is ever increasing.
And I heard multiple folks here on the call talking about moving from multiple clouds to a hybrid cloud ecosystem or a multi-cloud ecosystem. So sort of knitting that together into, a data fabric. But understanding where your data is very important, and then being able to once it's located, that first mile of find it and move it. Like no matter where it is, you don't want to care about where it is or care what format it's in. You want to be able to get it to that central place. So that first mile is sort of crucial to be able to take the next steps of information management. We do some things for some customers that moving edge data, let's just say log data from all the edge devices into a central location in support of cybersecurity. Okay. So putting a big data platform to, collect it, streamline it, align it, enrich it, and put it in a format that it can be consumed by the cybersecurity stack before the cybersecurity stack performs its functions, actually aids in detection times. It aids in detection rates, so it moves detection times down, detection rates up. And then obviously you're putting data into the cybersecurity stack that is already pre-processed, if you will. That first mile, you can use, open source tools like NiFi and Kafka and Flink to perform some enrichment and some level of processing that when it gets to the cybersecurity stack, it makes the job of the stack a whole lot more effective than it would be prior to that. And so a lot of bang for a little bit of bucks that actually gets you to a place where, as you're the CISO now, and you're now operating a very finely tuned machine compared to what you were prior to having this processing being done. But importantly is any source to any location. You don't want to care about that. If you're the CIO or you're the CDO, you don't want to worry about where is it. Or you want to know where it is, but you're not worried about why it is where it is. It could be in the cloud already. It may not be in the cloud already. It may be in a legacy data center and you want to put it in the cloud. So the destination and the origination shouldn't be of consequence. You'll be able to identify it and move it, and then to do the things that you want to do with it, with that modern ecosystem that I heard the two ladies talking about. So
sure.
That first mile is sort of crucial to get it where you want to have it to use it.
And to be really super efficient about how you're managing and processing that data, all part of this modernization journey. Nicole, how about over at the OIG? You want to give us an example of a program that you'd like to highlight?
Sure. So I talked about, I'm going to talk about a mission example because we've been doing a lot of modernization of our older
Love the mission
applications.
examples.
So, at OIG, our mission is around promoting the economy, effectiveness, efficiency, and integrity of HHS programs, as well as the health and welfare of the people that we serve. So one of the projects we took on, we partnered with our audit and evaluation office as they provide, they conduct audits and evaluations to help improve the program. So one of the things they do for that is issue recommendations. Previously, they were doing this through siloed applications and email to all of the optives at HHS, like FDA and CMS. So we worked with our partners, our business partners, and built a new application on our kind of low code platform. This really has been a game changer for this. We really were able to unify the data and the processes across the OIG organizations, and now they are able to kind of interact with the other HHS optives to help kind of get those recommendations out to the optives and resolved, and have that interchange in one place, in one central location versus and it's giving kind of OIG that one voice and allowing us to better streamline kind of the interaction around our audits and evaluations.
And as you highlight these various operating components and you think about that, it's just, HHS is massive. And so OIG having to sort of normalize that and be able to become effective and efficient there is fantastic. I'm sure that's really unlocking a lot of efficiency at HHS. So thank you very much for that. Scott, how about over at BMC? Give us an example of a program you'd like to highlight. You all see a lot of different things and a lot of different various activities across these agencies. Give us a specific program you'd like to touch on.
Yeah, absolutely, Luke. So it's really amazing how in alignment we all are. So I've heard a lot about data insights during this discussion, during this segment. And actually, Rob, you would appreciate this. We created what we call within our information security office a cybersecurity data hub. And actually, we were fortunate enough to win the CIO 100 award on that specific category. But, when you're talking about billions of logs and billions of events that you're having to process, there's not a SIM out there or any of the other traditional tools that can actually pull all of that together. And just for full disclosure, we do not sell this product. This is something we did inside as a proof of concept and actually carried it forward. And now it's an integral part of how we analyze all of the logs, as well as just, quick stat. We went from analyzing, really doing the forensics within our information security office and as well as the SOC. We actually reduced that time by 90%, really using what we call real-time event enrichment. And when you think about the gobbledygook that comes in from all of these different systems, and how do you correlate that network port to that SAN port to this, nowhere does it all come together. But really, that system allowed us to do that. And actually, we took that real-time enrichment, event enrichment process. We're integrating that into our monitoring platform. We just pulled a piece out of what we did as a proof of concept and then put it into our actual product. So that was something I'm super excited about, Luke. And, I think, there's just tons of things around automation. I'm running in my DR mode right now. We flip over to DR once a year for a week.
Okay.
And, we operate the business. Quite frankly, the business doesn't even know this is happening because it's pretty seamless. And, we've automated much of that process. So using some of our tools, literally reduced it by 85, 90%. If you think about failing over Oracle, for example, that's a laborious process.
Oh, yeah.
But if I can push one button and have it automatically change the, switch ports, all of the different, move the data over, do all the things that it needs to do from an orchestration layer, and, really, prove out the technology and ensure that you're survivable, right? That's something I'm also just super excited about.
Great example there in DR. I used to say that DR testing was always an event, oftentimes a catastrophic event. I think many of you can appreciate that going through some of that testing. All right, we're going to talk about priorities. Melanie, I'm going to start with you. Top 2 priorities. I know you have a lot of stuff you're doing there. Give us the top two priorities.
Top two. Okay. Let's talk about future work, right?
All right.
Again, going into COVID, it made, everyone pivot into something different. And we were able to successfully do that. But now, with the hurry up and rush, how do we modernize and how do we continue to build upon those platforms that may have been put in place or modernized or enhanced? So that's one of, I would say, one of the top priorities, future work. What does that look like? And how does IT support that? How does IT support the customer? How does it support our partners, our missions, things of that nature? And I'll just do a sub to that. Here in the Information Resource Management Bureau where I work, we've kicked off a project or a task called Tech for Life, meaning that when you come in, and most people know that we have worldwide missions here at the Department of State. We have our posts abroad and our staff that support us at the various embassies and consulates, and then we have our domestic staff. One of the challenges that we ran into is during COVID, we had to figure out a way. How do we get a laptop to that new employee that was just hired? Or how does the employee that's transitioning from one post to another stay mobile as far as connected to the workplace where the offices are closed due to COVID and things of that nature? So our Tech for Life project is something else. I think the goal is to deploy over 9,000 laptops. Wherever you go, you don't have to leave your laptop or leave your phone at that post. You're taking it with you. We're tracking it. We're issuing it to you. We're making sure that you have all the latest updates and patches and things of that nature. This conversation today has gone around. We all know that security, it circles everything that we do. Everything that we plan has to have that security element to it, right? And how do you make sure that your security is not compromised when you have people, so much movement occurring? One other thing, I know you said two, so I gave you 1.5, but the second one I wanted to say that we all in the industry know, I'm sure that Department of State, we are waiting for our new CIO to come in. And we're just preparing because a new CIO comes in, they will come in with their ideas and after evaluation, I'm sure, and things of that nature, where we're at. And there may be some more new tasks placed upon us. But again, as I talked about the classified cloud, we are agile enough to pivot and accomplish what needs to be done.
No doubt when you get a leader in, you'll have some, a lot of the directional stay the same as, it should at the State Department, and then there'll be some fresh ideas. So I'm sure we're all looking forward to that. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. You're listening to the Federal Executive Forum on the Federal News Network.